Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 212 of the Drunk Dashers podcast. I'm your host, as always. I am Tyler. And joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself. We have Sir Colin Gables. What's up, buddy?
I'm doing all right. Just got past work on a Monday, since we're recording live for you guys to try to get some the content out as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. It's a little late on a Monday night. At least for me, it's like 9:30 Central Time. But I'm off. So it's whatever. I can do whatever I want. I can stay up as late as I want. My parents can't do nothing about it. It's not school night. Because I'm a big kid now. Anyways, we are back with more E3 talk. Yesterday, last night, whatever, we released our thoughts and reactions to EA and Microsoft. So today we're coming at you with Bethesda, Ubisoft, and Sony. We're going to go ahead and start in order with which the conferences came out. We'll go ahead and start with Bethesda. So they had theirs late last night, as we talked about yesterday on the show. Kind of go what we did yesterday, talk about everything that was mentioned, and then we'll just kind of discuss the positives, negatives, what we thought overall with them. First off, they started up with Doom VFR and Fallout 4 VR, both coming this year. Fallout 4, it looks like, is a Vive exclusive. Vive VR is a VR, and Doom is coming to PSVR and Vive. And the Fallout 4 VR is scheduled for October release. No release window or anything for Doom, but we do know it's $30 for Doom VR. So next up, they announced sounds like an expansion for Elder Scrolls Online. It's a Morrowind expansion. It's out now if you want to check it out. Show some gameplay for that. And then they announced some more stuff for Elder Scrolls Legends, which is the card game for, like, you can play on Steam and phones and iPads and all that stuff. Announced some Skyrim content for it, so if you're a fan of that, it's out there now, or it's coming soon, rather. And then next up, they showed off Skyrim for the Switch. They announced there would be amiibo support, and you could play as Link in the game with the Master Sword. So that's cool. Next up, we had Dishonored: Death of an Outsider. That's coming September 29th. Standalone DLC, so you don't need to have Dishonored 2 to play it. Just kind of a cutscene or story trailer, no gameplay, anything like that, but sounds like people that love Dishonored are super excited for this one. Next up, they showed off some gameplay and a trailer for Quake Champions and BJ Blazkowicz, the main character from Wolfenstein. It will be a playable character in that. No release date, but it is scheduled to be out sometime this year. Then next up, we had Evil Within 2 coming out October 13th. We had some gameplay and trailer shown. And last but not least, Wolfenstein 2 New Colossus is out October 27th. And we had a fairly long cutscene and a lot of gameplay shown for that game. What did you think, Gables?
I thought that the major things taken out from that Bethesda press conference was Wolfenstein 2, New Colossus, and also the Zelda stuff inside the Switch version of Skyrim. Other than that, though, it's like the conference in general really felt like sort of a week's showing. Even though that there were a bunch of content things announced for, like, VR stuff, for, like, either the Vive or the PlayStation VR with Doom and Fallout 4 respectively, I felt as a overall conference, it just didn't really feel like it was... it felt like really it was just like a flash in the pan to where it's like, okay, here's just a bunch of games that we have to announce for you at this time and stuff. 30 minutes later, yeah, that's it. Yeah, go on ahead. Nothing really much here. I mean, it's kind of telling, though, because they had their whole, like, setting thing, like, their whole conference thing set up like an amusement park.
Yeah, Bethesda Land.
Bethesda Land and all that other stuff. I mean, let's see. I don't really particularly care for, like, a lot of the Elder Scrolls Online stuff because I don't really dabble too much in MMOs.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I thought it was pretty cool for the Dishonored, like, stuff. The standalone game for the Death of an Outsider. That looked relatively interesting, although there was no gameplay really shown at all. But I liked how when they showed off the Zelda amiibo stuff, I was literally like, oh, okay, what the hell's this? Then you go forth, you see, like, your main protagonist dressed up in Link attire and, like, riding a Epona, and then, like, do this, like, having the Master Sword in Skyrim. Like, okay, this is, like, a freaking mod right here. That was just adapted from, like, PC onto the Switch. But hell, I would totally would be down for playing Skyrim and then playing as Link. I mean, hell, that sounds pretty awesome. But the best thing in that entire conference was the reveal for Wolfenstein 2: New Colossus.
Oh God. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I just had to go change my shorts real quick.
I mean, fuck. I mean, that whole trailer, the impressions that you get from that sort of like a peaceful dystopian thing, like where you're basically going to a little diner or something like that, but there's all these subtle like things that are just sort of like wrong and stuff, because there's all these like white supremacy like type of shit that's going on like in broad daylight and stuff, from Ku Klux Klan members, and then like Nazis and all this stuff, like just filtrating like the entire streets and stuff like that. It was really unnerving, and it was a cool statement though by the developers in order to try to input little subtleties like that into their game. I mean, it matches the theme of Wolfenstein to a T. I mean, you're basically trying to like get the Nazi regime out of power and stuff like that. And so after the events, the first like Wolfenstein game for the PS4 and stuff, obviously BJ Blazkowicz has to go and wake up from like another fucking like coma-inducing shit, because
It's so
of course
yeah.
it's so stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some aspects from that that Wolfenstein game that there's some sort of that's just really stupid, but at the same point, I love the pacing of the combat inside this game. They took so many little cues from Doom from last year that I am fucking excited and I want to play that game now. Of course, I'm going to play through and beat the other Wolfenstein game before I actually have a chance to play Wolfenstein 2, but holy shit, though. I mean, that was a great reveal for a game.
Yeah, definitely. Out of 10, what do you think you'd give it?
Well, let's see. Other than like Wolfenstein stuff, I would give it.
Oh, okay.
I would give it like a 6.5 out of 10.
Okay.
I thought that the content that was shown felt better than what I witnessed for EA on Saturday. There was content that was pretty much relevant to my interests and like sort of things. Even though the overall tone of the week of the conference was not as strong, I do feel that Wolfenstein 2 and like the Zelda stuff inside Skyrim for Switch kind of made up for in my opinion, for how sort of like a lame duck sort of conference it was.
Okay. I going into this or coming out of this, I was like, that was amazing. That was one of the best press conferences I've ever seen. I've kind of, it's been about 24 hours since we watched it. I've definitely settled down since then, but I thought it started off strong with the Doom VFR stuff. That looks really cool. I'm curious how it's going to work.
Right.
That game is built on speed. Like the whole thing of Doom is speed, and you're doing the teleporting stuff in VR. So I'm curious how that's going to work out. But
I know that's really interesting and stuff. But yeah, I'm just kind of wondering. It's like, if you're moving that fast inside VR stuff, don't you think that's going to be a little bit like a motion sickness thing going to be coming into effect? I wonder how they handle something like that.
That's what I'm worried about with that game. I mean, it's only a $30 game. It's probably not going to be a full thing at all. I'm not in on the VR thing quite yet, but there's enough things that are out now and are coming soon that look interesting that I'm thinking about it. Like, I'm probably not going to buy it this year, but sometime maybe early next year or something like that, I might pick it up, especially if games like Doom and some of the other stuff we've seen today pan out. But thought that was a good start off. I'm a little bummed there wasn't like a Doom expansion that you can play that's not the VR version. Something they did with the old Blood, like they did with Wolfenstein. But yeah, that looked kind of cool for Fallout 4. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be people that are excited for that. I don't care about Fallout 4. Elder Scrolls stuff, I mean, whatever. You kind of covered it. It's like not really into the online MMO stuff. Same with Elder Scrolls Legends. If people like that, there's more for you. I'm sure they're happy, especially the Morrowind stuff and the Skyrim stuff for Legends. Skyrim for the Switch, it's fucking more Skyrim. They're re-releasing for the 20th time. I mean, that's a cool twist, and I think they probably knew that coming out with Skyrim for the Switch. It's like, oh, okay, that game's like 8 years old. But adding Link to it, that's gonna definitely probably find an audience with the Nintendo fans that maybe haven't played it yet. And still no release date for that, but it is supposed to come out this year. So I'm curious. That was weird to me. They didn't show it. They still haven't released the date. I went out and looked for one, and I couldn't find one. Um, the two biggest things to me, that by far at that point, no question, the two biggest things that came out of E3 for me were Evil Within 2 and Wolfenstein 2. Both
Right.
games were heavily rumored last year, and actually Evil Within 2 ads were popping up online about an hour or so before the press conference. So it was pretty much well known that game was going to be announced at Bethesda's press conference, but that pretty much, yeah, I confirmed it right there. And Wolfenstein 2, I think it was popping up on like Amazon Canada or something like that before,
Right.
like the day before the press conference. So we knew they were both coming. Everybody knew they're in development. But man, both press conferences blew me, or both trailers blew me away. I'm
Hmm.
really happy to bring back Sebastian from Evil Within 1. I absolutely adored Evil Within, the first one. It was a slow burn. I hated it the first couple hours, but once I delved into that game was fucking fantastic. It was one of my, I think, three or four best games of the year it came out. I want to say 2014. So,
Yeah.
yeah, great game. More, I'm excited for more. It's the guy that made Resident Evil 4, or is responsible for Resident Evil 4, one of the main guys. So he knows horror, and he knows how to make a good shooter version of that game. So that should be pretty awesome coming out this year. Happy for that. Wolfenstein 2, yeah, fuck yeah, dude, that was amazing. The comedy, the
Yep.
action, the gameplay, like you said, the Doom stuff. It looked like it was a little faster. So that all looked great. The guy at the end dropping acid in the middle of a battle with Nazis was amazing. Great way to end it. That was incredible. It was a 40-minute press conference. It was the guy. One of the guys came out, talked at first for like 2-3 minutes, left, trailer after trailer after trailer after trailer, came out, said thank you for coming, and that was the end of it. I'm cool with that. I mean, you can almost argue there was really no point to have a press conference, but
Yep.
for what we got there, it wasn't a long, drawn out thing. They didn't spend 20 minutes and everything like most press conferences usually do. But yeah, I love this press conference. I was never bored. There was a little lull in the middle there, but I was never bored. It was just kind of like, oh, you don't like that? We got this for you. So, and most of that stuff, I think I found interesting, or there's a big audience for all those things they've shown, and they're all coming out this year, which is incredible.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna go 9 out of 10 for Bethesda, just because they gave me the two best games of the show so far. At least at that point. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to what happened today. We're gonna start off with Ubisoft. Yeah, there's afternoon. Kind of started off with Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, the worst kept secret in gaming.
Yep.
Everything that we saw is everything we pretty much been announced a while back. Turn-based battling game. The term thrown out a lot was a kid-friendly XCOM game, which I like XCOM a lot. It's just really hard and really deep of a game that I just can't grasp. So I'm excited for that because I like that style, the kind of the turn-based moving style gameplay, like Steam World Heist, things like that. So that's coming out August 29th. That's a thing coming out. So next up, more Assassin's Creed Origins. We got a trailer showing some more gameplay. I think we saw a lot more yesterday at Microsoft's for that. Next up, we had Crew 2 coming out early 2018. They're going to have off-roading. You can ride motorcycles, boats, and it'll be you can fly plane. So that's some of the big things they're adding. Next up, we had a South Park Fractured But Whole trailer. I think it's the same trailer that we already saw a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
They
I think
released.
so.
Yeah, so still was really funny. Looks amazing. Can't wait for that game. October 27th. October 17th. Cannot get here fast enough. The next game I think is Transference. I think is how you say it.
Yep.
Elijah Wood's game studio. I didn't know he had a game studio, but he has one. Showing off this really weird game about plugging into your mind. It's a VR game. It's coming in early 2018. No, I think there's a few little snippets of gameplay, but from what they showed in the teaser trailer we got, You piqued my interest for that as much as you can for not really having any gameplay. Next up we had was Skull and Bones. It's a they showed a teaser trailer at first, and it kind of made it seem like, oh cool, they listened to us. We're getting Black Flags, the game. You can play it, but with the pull the crappy Assassin's Creed stuff out of it and make a pirate game. But kind of turned out it's actually a kind of a PvP game, 5v5. They showed off a five versus five mode where y'all have your own ships, and the goal in this mode is what team member has the most booty at the end wins. And then they show a little teaser with the Kraken. No real more details shown other than that. It's coming out fall 2018. Got a little dance number for Just Dance 2018. About 2-3 minutes long. Perfect. They usually spend way too long on Just Dance. That's coming out in October. Then we got announced South Park Phone Destroyer. That's coming out this year. It's going to be a game for your mobile phones. I don't know if it's a free-to-play game or it's a pay game or whatever. So next up, we had Starlink Battle for Atlas. It is a Toys of Life space flying battling game coming next fall 2018. Where you can actually you buy like adapters for your ship and put them on your ship and you go and battle with them. Then Steep, they showed some expansion pass for it called Road to the Olympics, where they're gonna have a bunch of Olympic events. That's coming out December 5th. And then Far Cry 5 got a bunch of gameplay. There's actually a dog, so I'm really interested now, named Boomer. He looks pretty cool. The gameplay looked really good for that game. Looks like an upres, or not upres, but updated Far Cry game. And I love Far Cry, so I'm cool with that, especially in that setting. Everything we've heard from it. And then last but not least, Beyond Good and Evil 2 got a very long CG trailer for that. No gameplay, no date, nothing like that. So that was the Ubisoft press conference. What did you think?
I thought that it was alright. I thought that the main things to take away from the Ubisoft press conference was there were plenty of surprises in terms of the games that they did show. Like, for instance, we all knew about the Mario and Rabbids game for a while now. I mean, it's been leaked for weeks. But the thing that we hadn't seen yet was the actual gameplay. And to be perfectly honest with you, I cannot stop thinking about that game once I've seen that gameplay, because it actually looks kind of awesome, to be perfectly honest with you. From what I've seen, from what, like, the little, like, how it reminds me so closely, like, to say, like, XCOM and stuff, and you do all these random team-ups and all this other type of style and personality sort of, like, movements and this and that and stuff, it really feels like a fresh game. It looks like a fresh experience with Mario. You know, that's just something that I wasn't expecting, you know, because I pretty much kind of written off the game as like, oh hey, this is just, yeah, I don't like the rabbits, I don't like this, and stuff, and all of a sudden you see actual gameplay of it, it's like, you know, that actually looks pretty fucking cool. But, a lot of the stuff that we had seen was, like, obviously the Assassin's Creed Origins stuff. I mean, we already saw a lot of that from the press conference from Microsoft the day before. Mm-hmm. Let's see, Crew 2, it's okay. I mean, Crew, the original Crew and stuff like that didn't really have too much of a presence at all. I mean, it had its dedicated fan base, but other than that, it really wasn't big. I mean,
it was a mediocre driving game that came and went. And it's gonna be a sequel.
Let's see, South Park. It was pretty much a trailer that we had already seen previously.
Yeah, just let you know it's still here and it's coming soon.
Yeah, pretty much. But the things that I saw that was kind of interesting. I mean, Far Cry 5, the gameplay, I thought the gameplay was pretty alright. You know, it wasn't like anything too like spectacular or something, but it totally did feel like a trailer built around the fact to try to create as less controversy as possible. because of how much like Ubisoft kind of stirred up like certain people in terms of when they first revealed Far Cry 5 and stuff.
Yeah.
They sort of made it sort of lighthearted in terms of how they presented things to the trailer, which, you know what? Far Cry, as a series in general, it does have a lot of its interesting, like, funny moments and stuff. But, yeah, I kind of like the aspect where you can actually go through, like, team up and co-op and just do whatever the hell you want to do inside this game. I mean, the game is still a ways off. There's still plenty that could be changed.
Yep, February next year, so we've got a while to go.
So yeah, it's. I thought it was all right, but the biggest surprise throughout that entire conference was the whole thing about Beyond Good and Evil 2, because previously Ubisoft has went on record saying they had nothing to show at this time, and you know what? We kind of believed it to a certain extent because the game hadn't been shown in any type of capacity since like 2010.
2008 actually.
Oh, 2008. No,
Yeah.
oh, pardon me. It's been almost like 10 years.
Yep.
So it's been like 9 years.
Yep.
Actually, 9 years after the reveal of that trailer, we finally get something, and it's something entirely different than what we thought it was going to be. For the presentation of the trailer, it felt a lot more edgier in terms of what Beyond Good and Evil was, and to find out it's actually a prequel to the original Beyond Good and Evil that was out on PS2, Xbox, GameCube, and stuff like that. And to be perfectly honest, it's like it was kind of a surreal moment. It was one of the legitimately surprising moments inside of E3 this year, because you have Michel Ancel, who obviously worked on this game a lot and stuff, and has been wanting to get this game put out for years and stuff, or at least focus upon getting this project together and stuff. And then to see him front and center out there, seeing his game trailer finally for Beyond Good and Evil 2, that was a heartfelt moment for that man. But I felt overall, in general, for the entirety of the Ubisoft conference, I mean, there weren't a lot of things that were really appealing to me, but to be perfectly honest, they're probably the two of the biggest surprises in terms of E3 for me so far were the Mario and Rabbids gameplay and the announcement of Beyond Good and Evil 2. So I would say I put it on the par with like my interest with the Microsoft conference yesterday and put like about a 7 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually exactly where I'm at. 7 out of 10. The Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I'm way more interested in it than I actually thought I would be.
Yeah.
It does look kind of kiddie, and I imagine it's not going to be anything super in depth as far as a turn-based battle game goes. But neither was South Park, and I love that game. But obviously, because I love South Park, so that helps. But I mean, if you're a fan of Mario or Rabbids, those sick bastards like Rabbids, you'll be happy for this game. I don't know if I'm going to pick it up day one. Late August is a very tough time for not tough time, but there's a lot of shit coming out in late August, and especially in the last week of August.
Oh yeah.
For me, you got Madden, Uncharted Lost Legacy, and then Life is Strange episode 1 comes out before the storm. So that's just in the last 10 days of August. And then also you got Mario and Rabbids August 29th. So a lot of stuff happening in a short time frame. But yeah, I'm more than likely gonna pick that up sometime this year. That could be like a September game, or maybe a December game, depending on what time I have for it. But yeah, it looks cool. I'm definitely interested in it. I'm curious if we're gonna see any more between now and then. Maybe we'll see some more tomorrow on Nintendo. Assassin's Creed Origins didn't really do anything. We got a trailer for it. The thing actually I thought was most interesting, the best thing I saw for that was actually after the press conference. They showed about a 20-30 minute long gameplay session, and it looks just like a Far Cry, where they showed them going in. You got to take over the outpost, defeat all the enemies. You can be stealthy about it. You can just go in and take them all out, guns blazing. Not literally guns blazing, but go in and just attack them straight on. And you can actually even like much like in Far Cry 3 and 4, you can shoot an arrow and destroy a cage that has like a line in it, and it'll go in and it'll attack all the people in the outpost or whatever, and until they kill them or it kills all the people. So something that came out with Far Cry. So definitely feels like Far Cry Assassin's Creed, which I'm cool with because I like Far Cry.
That's pretty damn cool.
It's definitely my interest level after watching that has jumped dramatically. Probably not gonna be day one buy, with coming out the same day as Wolfenstein 2, or October 27th, and I don't really trust Assassin's Creed or Ubisoft for this game to be good and to be finished when it comes out. So Crew 2, like I said, mediocre driving game that came and went a couple years ago. South Park, obviously, like I said, still excited for that game. Transference, that's another game that's kind of on my radar for VR games right now. That's not coming until early 2018. Like I said, didn't really see much. Skull and Bones, I was actually like, oh crap, when they showed that teaser trailer, I'm like, when they were talking about it, I'm like, okay, that sounds cool because everybody loves Black Flags and everybody said you should do more of that. And I'm like, okay, they're doing that. They're gonna make a pirate game, and then I come find out it's basically just like a For Honor or Rainbow Six Siege, but with ships. So the more I saw of it, the more my interest level dropped dramatically for that game. I'm sure there's gonna be a big audience for it. I'm sure it's probably gonna be a good game. I didn't think people like For Honor. That's actually got a pretty good following. It's got good reviews. So I wouldn't be surprised if this turns out to be good. It's just that I don't really care much for those, 5v5 PvP games or whatever, online games. Turns out there's more to it. There's a story mode, things like that. Maybe I missed something. Maybe there's something announced I didn't know about. Then I'll look into it. But for what we saw there, I'm good. South Park Phone Destroyer, if it's free to play, I'm going to be needing to get a loan. So the Starlink Battle for Atlas, I actually laughed out loud once we saw the ship on the controller. I'm like, oh, come on, fuck you. Why are we making more Toys of Life stuff coming out in fall of 2018 when the two biggest, when Skylanders is on its way out? It was actually a really funny tweet I saw. It said "No Man's Skylander" is what this game was. I laughed at that too. But why are we making more Toys of Life shit when Skylanders is the interest in that has been going way down. Disney, arguably the biggest, as far as like characters they can release, they're out of that. They're losing money on that, more on their own end, but they were still losing a lot of money on it. Why are we still making more of this shit in 2018? I don't get it, especially for something that doesn't have established IPs behind it.
Yep.
So yeah, that's whatever. Far Cry 5, like I said, that game is going to be pretty good, I think. The only thing this is the tweet of the night I saw for this was they have a dog named Boomer, and he actually goes up and he'll like attack enemies for you and steal the bad guy's gun and give it to you. And someone put on Twitter they should have named the dog Obama, and it just be Obama taking guns from people. Oh man, that's
There's gotta be a name for the damn change for the dog.
Yeah, if they can, I'm naming it Obama. I am. That's the tweet of all time. You can just shut the internet down after that one. That was great. Beyond Good and Evil 2, it's what I don't even care about Beyond Good and Evil at all. Like people that want it, I'm happy for you. It's still a thing, but it's been 9 years since we got a CG trailer for it in 2008, and you come back 9 years later with another CG trailer with no gameplay, no nothing. Tells me this game sat on ice for years.
Yep.
And we're not going to see this game for years either, if at all. It sounds like it's super early in development. So I'm, like I said, I'm happy it's still alive, but I think a lot of people were expecting when this game was shown again at E3, it was going to be a lot of gameplay. Hey, it's coming this year, it's coming next year. Like I'm a big fan of Last Guardian. I love Last Guardian. I waited for that game for 9 years, but at least when we got it 9 years later, or no, 7 years later, we got a release date for it.
Yep.
And it got delayed 6 weeks, but we got a release date, at least window for it. So yeah, it was overall it was a good conference. Some of the stuff, some of it dragged. I think the Crew 2 stuff especially dragged. Just Dance, I actually think I enjoyed more than Crew 2. But yeah, there's a lot in there for everybody. It came away looking at the stuff I'm interested in: Mario and Rabbids, South Park trailer, Far Cry 5. Those three things that I'm really, really excited to play. So yeah, I guess probably Far Cry 5 would be my game of the show, since I'm not really going to count South Park since we didn't really get anything other than that little trailer for it that I've already seen before. Yeah, overall, not a terrible show, but not a really good one either. 7 out of 10. Next up, we just finished watching this before we did the show. Sony. There's actually some stuff shown off at the pre-show. They did an hour-long pre-show before the actual main show. They had a trailer for Knack 2 that's coming out September 5th. Matterfall is actually the guys that made Resogun. It's coming out August 15th. It's like a 2D or 3D side scroller, but with like twin stick shooter. Basically, it's Resogun, but a side scroller with your actually character with a gun running around doing platforming and stuff. Then we had another game called Playlink. It looks like a Jackbox type of game where you use your phone for your console. We saw a couple like little games. I don't even know how to describe it. It looked like whatever. Everybody's Golf trailer for that. No date or anything, but they showed some Everybody's Golf aka Hot Shots Golf, making a comeback. Another cool thing, Super Hot coming to PS4, PSVR. It's not even Super Hot's not even, the regular game's not even on PS4, so maybe that's coming soon. But Super Hot I think came out on Vive last year. It's coming to PSVR this year. And then Spark coming to PSVR. That was a weird like bounce the ball back and forth kind of game. I don't really know. There was no gameplay shown, but going off the teaser, that's what we got. Tropico 6 coming in 2018. Undertale is coming to PS4 and Vita this year. The one and only Vita acknowledgement. It's coming this year. And then Ni no Kuni 2, Wrath of the Witch, is coming November 10th. So that was the pre-show stuff. So pretty good. A lot of good stuff out there came out of just the pre-show. Going to the main show, start off with Uncharted Lost Legacy. You got a story trailer for that coming out August 22nd. We already knew that part though. No real gameplay shown for that really at all yet, but imagine it's be more Uncharted 4 kind of looking, so should be a good game. Horizon Zero Dawn, The Frozen Lands, it's going to be DLC coming sometime this year. No gameplay shown, but got a little teaser for that. Days Gone, we got a fairly long gameplay for that shown. It seems like an open world Last of Us style kind of game. With the gameplay style looks similar to Last of Us, but open world, driving a motorcycle around. And then at the end, it has a swarm zombie stuff. And then at the end, there was a zombie bear. So that's a thing. I don't want to live in that world. That sounds fucked up. Monster Hunter World. Got a lot of gameplay shown for that. That's coming out early 2018. That is also coming to PC and Xbox One, though. So that is not exclusive. Then we got a teaser for Shadow of the Colossus, the remake, coming out in 2018. That's sweet. I mean, I'd rather have Last Guardian 2, but whatever, I'll take it. Then we had Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, story trailer for that coming out September 19th, and there's a demo out now you can play, and Dante from Devil May Cry has been confirmed as a character. Don't know if he was or not before, but just threw it in there. Got some gameplay for Call of Duty World War II, or WW2, sorry. Kind of more stuff we've already seen. Skyrim VR, so yay, more Skyrim. That is coming to PSVR. No release date or any window or anything for that. Then we had Star Child VR. It's a 3D side-scroller kind of game. Then The Inpatient. It's a scary first-person game. Kind of a teaser shown for that. Looks like you're in a mental institution. It's a VR game. Coming to PSVR. And then coming to another game, PSVR. We had a string of PSVR games. Final Fantasy PSVR. It's called Monster of the Deep. It's a VR fishing game, so people I'm sure will be excited for that. Another game, it's a first-person shooter VR game called Bravo Team. Kind of look kind of decent. I don't, whatever. Teaser trailer, not a lot shown. And then another game called Moss. You play as a mouse who has a gauntlet and a sword. Seems like a puzzle game. I don't really know. There wasn't really kind of a lot shown as far as gameplay goes. That's coming out to VR though. No release date or window for that. Then we got some God of War gameplay and some story stuff shown for that coming early 2018. Talked a lot about this kid and something's wrong with this kid. We don't know what's wrong with him. Early 2018 for that. Detroit got a fairly long trailer for that. I'm assuming that was gameplay. The way they make their games, I can't remember the name of the studio, but Quantic Dream. Thank you. Dream. The way they make their games, it all looks like a cutscene. So I'm assuming that was gameplay, but you never know. Destiny 2 got some more gameplay for that. They announced there's an exclusive strike, ship, gear, PvP map, and a weapon coming to PS4 only. And then Spider-Man got a gameplay trailer for that coming out in 2018. So what did you think of Sony's E3 press conference?
It was solid. It was solid from beginning to end. I mean, it was pretty much like kind of a continuation from their conference last year to where they decided to go the route of just showing nonstop game after game after game. That just seems to be more of a focus this year than anything else for every other bits of the conferences besides EA. To where you're going through, they said a little blurb at the beginning of the conference and they started showcasing game after game. And there was quite a bit of decent stuff that was shown too. I mean, obviously the Uncharted Lost Legacy stuff, that looked pretty cool. I mean, the cutscene stuff looked pretty awesome. The aspect of the gameplay I think is going to be really fantastic. I'm excited for the DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn. Days Gone, I'm not necessarily sold on the game itself yet. I mean, it does seem really familiar, does seem really reminiscent to The Last of Us. But at the same point, I'm just kind of wondering what type of direction this game is going into. I mean, we're obviously not going to see it for a while, but I thought that was okay. Let's see. Monster Hunter World was actually really surprising, considering that the last few Monster Hunters have been pretty much on Nintendo systems for the most part. So like Monster Hunter Tri, like Monster Hunter like 4, Monster Hunter like you know, X and all this other stuff.
Monster Hunter Stories or something like that. It came out last year for 3DS.
Yeah, that's just the thing though. Just seeing like a third party sort of Monster Hunter game like on PS4, PC, and Xbox One, that's kind of a big deal right there, considering that their last major forays upon those systems were back around the time for PS2, I want to say. PS2, PSP, around that time of generation stuff. I know there wasn't like a Monster Hunter game released on the 360 or anything else like that, but it had been a while. No. I mean, PSP Definitely. Really much had like was pretty much the system to where Monster Hunter was thriving for a long time before.
Yeah, there was one on the Wii too.
Yes, that's what I was referring to. Monster Hunter Tri.
Oh yeah, okay.
I'll tell you what. One of the first legitimately exciting things I saw was it looks like a remaster of Shadow of the Colossus coming out in 2018. Oh my gosh, I saw that and I was like, oh my God, that is so cool, because even though I have played Shadow of the Colossus, it looked absolutely stunning inside of the whole 4K, like the PS4 Pro sort of powered visuals and everything, like from the beasts and stuff, the detailing, the this, the that, and stuff. Oh man, I'm honestly legitimately excited to play that game now. Oh man, it's one of those. It is definitely one of those games and stuff to where I am really surprised that Sony didn't like announce any more, like say remasters of old PS2 or PS3 games at the conference itself.
Yeah.
Because hey, even though we've gotten Shadow of the Colossus last generation, like piled on with Eco and stuff for like a classic sort of thing, it's kind of a no-brainer, man. It's like they got all this various other IP that they can go forth and remaster in sort of this sort of visual style, you know, and it's like, well, let's see. God, there was a lot of stuff. I mean, I really loved the gameplay stuff for God of War. I mean, I thought that it, like, story-wise and, like, gameplay-wise, it looks a lot more interesting than the previous entries in the franchise. I'm really interested in seeing like where the story goes from here, because it's not like Kratos being like yelling and being angry at everybody, and they actually make subtle hints and stuff that Kratos pretty much appeared inside this Norse mythology sort of world and stuff like that, and like it's not like a reboot of sorts, but it's like a continuation from that series. So it's kind of crazy to think that, guys. I personally thought it was going to be like some sort of like major reboot, but it's the same Kratos that came from the Greek mythology stuff. I thought Detroit was a really interesting gameplay sort of like trailer stuff. I thought that from what they showed, it was a lot better than what they did like a few E3. Like, was it last E3 that they showed the trailer for that game?
Yeah, they've shown, this is the third E3 in a row they've shown something for that game. Yeah,
I felt that this E3 they showed more of a concrete look of what the game can be. I mean, it was conceptual stuff the last couple E3s, and this one, it felt like more of a game itself. It looks fairly fascinating. I mean, obviously, I have not played a Quantic Dream game in quite a while, but it looks like it's going to be really fun, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think one of the more exciting things about the conference, though, I liked how they end the conference with Spider-Man. I mean, I was not expecting Spider-Man. The whole gameplay looks fucking seamless. It reminds me of Arkham Asylum mixed in with like a lot of the crisp, like sort of visuals and stuff, like all the colors and everything. Because that was one of the main things that That's one of the main things you got to nail inside of a Spider-Man game, because you're in New York City, you're fighting crime, you're doing this and doing that, and they managed to nail every single little detail upon who Spider-Man is. Insomniac Games is really working hard in this game, and I'm really impressed to see that how fluid the gameplay looks, how you could actually go for the transverse in the city like you could, say, in Spider-Man 2, that you like way back when it was on the PS2 and GameCube. So yeah, you know what? The overall feel for the conference in general for PlayStation, I would give that actually like a 8.5 out of 10. I was actually impressed with what was going on.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, overall, I thought it was a really good press conference. My one big negative, I think, is everything seemed, all the big exclusives were 2018, it's felt like.
Yeah.
Uncharted Lost Legacy, that's coming this year. We've known that for a while. Horizon Zero Dawn DLC coming down the pipeline sometime this year. But
yeah,
other than that, everything, I mean, Spider-Man, God of War, those coming out 2018.
Days Gone and stuff like that.
Days Gone, no release date. I'm betting that's probably 2019 or something. Shadow of Colossus, 2018. I wouldn't be surprised if Shadow of Colossus gets pushed back. We play that in 2025 or something.
Well, what I will say though is, like, even with the pre-conference, the pre-show stuff, I'm really excited to play Undertale finally.
Oh yeah,
coming out to consoles this year. I mean, hell, I've heard a lot of good stuff about that game.
Yeah,
Ni no Kuni 2 I'm also excited about. So it's like,
yeah,
we got at least those two games this year.
Yeah,
and Uncharted.
There was small stuff in the pre-show, but yeah, like there's a big audience for Hot Shots Golf, everybody's golf, whatever. Super Hot PSVR. That's another thing I want to play in VR. Undertale, obviously, I want to check that out. I mean, that blew up the internet last year. I almost bought that game on Steam just because I wanted to play it because it sounds so cool. It sounds like Earthbound kind of play style, but some of the stuff we saw in it, there was like one thing where you're spinning around, going through like portals that look like the Pokemon gyms from Red and Blue. That game looks incredible, or sounds incredible. Well, apparently it is incredible. Oops. But yeah, I mean that kind of sucked. Pretty much all the biggest stuff that we're that personally I'm most excited for. I think most people are all coming out next year. I'm kind of on one hand, I'm kind of happy though, because this fall is already booked for me as far as games I want to play.
Oh yeah,
I've been making a list and looking at dates, and it's just there's too much good stuff. So as a gamer, as me personally, I'm okay with it. But just kind of like as a consumer, or if you're looking for some big exclusives, some of the biggest games that were shown at E3 so far, all the big ones from Sony are coming, next year. So nothing really big from the pipeline. Anyways, Monster Hunter World. I mean, those games have been Nintendo exclusive mainly. Like we had the one on the Wii, like you talked about, a few on 3DS. There's that one on PSP, and everybody loves those games. But the biggest complaint was because you can play it online, but it wasn't. We want to play that. People want to play that on the console, like on the 360, PS3, PS4, Xbox One, and finally you can do that. So I'm happy that's happening for those people that love Monster Hunter. It's not my game, but I'm sure those people that love those games are going to be super happy with that. It's probably the equivalent of getting a Pokemon game on the main console for some people. Shadow of Colossus looks amazing. That game, I'm sure is going to be. It's great. It's a great game. So I'm happy to play it again this time and with 2019, 2022 graphics or whatever it's going to be. I mean, some of the VR stuff though. I mean, Star Child, the side scroller game, that looks kind of cool. I'm curious how that's going to play in 3D though, or not 3D but VR. What's that all about? But that game looked kind of cool from when we saw of it. Just a little snippet. The Impatient. That could be kind of cool, but I'm sure there's probably a million first-person horror games that are on the VR right now. Moss though looks really interesting. Cute little mouse with a sword. I can dig that. God of War. I mean, I don't like all the other God of War games. Not a big hack slash guy, but from what we're seeing of that, they're definitely going away from that. They have found a way to bring it to this generation of games. I think hack and slash games have there's still an audience for it. But I feel like that those days are gone as far as mainstream audience goes. And it seems like they're doing a good job of, from what we've seen so far, of making that game, making God of War and Kratos relevant again in 2017, 2018. Detroit, I like Quantum Dreams games, or at least I like Heavy
Yeah.
Rain a lot. Heavy Rain was a really good game. Beyond Two Souls, I talked about it at length a few years ago. It was a good game, but had a lot of problems. But Detroit looks really interesting, and I mean that's kind of something that I mean is growing more and more real. I mean we're years away from AI like that, as far as we know, but that is something that we're going closer and closer to, and it's just kind of interesting. It seems like it's Terminator from the computers or the machines point of view. So I'm curious how it's going to play out. Spider-Man, that game looks cool, looks great. I'm probably gonna pick that one up when it comes out. Yeah, like you said, it's Arkham Asylum, but Spider-Man,
Yep.
which I'm all for. I love um, the Batman Arkham games, so I'll be happy to play another style of that game. And happy it's not Batman. So yeah, I mean overall, I thought it was a really good show from much like Microsoft's on paper, really great show. But what I'll give them props for is we got a lot of first party exclusive titles and true exclusive titles, and even
Yep.
they had the little dig there at the end. This is a true exclusive, right? When we're talking about Spider Man, and I love that. It's like we kept hearing exclusive, exclusive, exclusive yesterday for Microsoft, and
This is a
only
third party exclusive right
yeah,
here.
this is exclusive for 3 months or whenever it's going to be, 30 days, a year, whatever. And a lot of these games they talked about, majority of these games they talked about are exclusives. I think
Yep.
really Monster Hunter World isn't going to be one. I don't know about Marvel vs. Capcom. That might not be one.
No, it's not.
Call of Duty we know is not. But they do have the deal with them where they get the DLC early. And same with Destiny 2. They get a bunch of exclusive stuff with that. So everything they announced was either had exclusive things coming to Sony or was a true exclusive.
Yep.
Same with the VR stuff. So yeah, I think much better showing than Microsoft's. It's kind of a dead year this year, but it's fine because there's enough. I think great games, like there usually is most falls, but enough great games this year to keep everybody busy. And they're gonna have sounds like 4 or 5 big games coming out next year. So we'll probably have plenty of Sony PS4 exclusives to play all
No
throughout the year
doubt.
next year. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go 8 out of 10 with this one.
Okay.
Not as good as Bethesda's, I think, but not, but it's still a really good show. I was, like I said, never bored. It was just they perfected, I think, the E3 press conference, and they're still. I mean, everybody seems to be following it outside of EA so far this E3, but they're still the masters of it. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for me. Great showing. Buddy, we're almost at the end of E3 for us. We
I
got
know, right?
one more tomorrow. Nintendo in the morning. Uh, Pretty excited. A little bummed. I talked about that best of our PS3 thing. That turned out to be nothing. It seems like so. Whatever. I was hoping for Metal Gear Solid 4 on my PS4, but whatever. It's cool. It might have just been a weird glitch. I was actually doing some looking online after we recorded last night, and I was seeing other people like from like March of this year and May of this year and months ago getting the same thing. So I wonder if it's like Justin said he listened to the show and he actually went on his PS3 and he said the PS3 store has that exact same thing, PS4 bundles and best of PS3. So maybe there's a weird glitch where I just signed in and it gave me the PS3 store for a second and kicked me out and reboot itself.
Probably.
Yeah, so that sounds what it is, and it seems like it happens to other people too. It's just weird timing right around E3. So yeah, great showing. Good day of games. We got one more tomorrow. Uh, yeah, good shows. Gotta love E3. Like I said, I think last week, even a bad E3 is still got some good shit out of it. So
Yeah.
so yeah, that's gonna do it for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow, talk about Nintendo, and then maybe talk a little bit more about overall E3 stuff. We don't know yet. Yeah, thanks for listening. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yep.
Don't drink and drive.
Of course.
Bye, guys.
See ya.